Hi, I'm Glenda Montgomery, a facilitator at Sound Discipline, and my kids were brought up with positive discipline, so they didn't fight. No, they fought. They definitely fought, and sometimes I was so triggered by their fighting that all of the incredible tools that I had from positive discipline seemed inaccessible. I ended up kind of doing a deep dive into learning about sibling conflict with this book, Without Rivalry by Faber and Mazlish. And this is a treasure trove of a book. I loved this book so much that I photocopied the cartoons that it has at the end of each chapter, and I would put them at my bedside table so that I could read them and review before I got up in the morning and faced more sibling conflict. One of their tips was don't attack the attacker. And I recognized immediately my habit that I had fallen into of tending to jump into disputes to chastise my older, bolder, more assertive daughter, Michaela, and protect my younger, smaller, gentler, more easygoing son, Graham. And so I read the chapter, really thought about it, and I love the way that kids just always give you opportunities to practice. But that very day that I read that chapter, we were sitting down for lunch right here at this table, and everything was calm and fine. And then out of the blue, seemingly, my daughter, who was 8 at the time, just yelled at the top of her lungs in my son's face, "Quit it, Graham!" Now, if it had been my normal pattern, I would have gone, "Michaela, you know not to yell. You don't have to yell at Graham. Just be calm and use your words." And then what would have happened is that she would have yelled something like, "Quit kicking me!" And then Graham would have kicked a little bit more, and then all hell would have broken loose. But I happened to read the chapter that day, and so instead of my normal pattern, I said, "Michaela, you seem really mad at Graham." And she blinked a couple times because this is not my normal pattern. And then she went, "Yeah, well, he's kicking my chair." And so again, I breathed and I said, "That sounds really annoying. I bet you wish that he would just keep his feet to himself." And again, she paused for a second, a little unsure, and she said, "Yeah, Graham, could you please stop kicking my chair?" And he responded, "Sure." And that was it. I just about fell off my chair. But it really made me think about my part in the continuation of the sibling conflict. We don't want our kids to self-identify as bullies or as victims and to continue to play out that dynamic. And so if that resonates with you a little bit, if you tend to jump in and attack the attacker, you might want to pause and do something else. There's many different ways of refraining from doing that. I chose to name what I thought my daughter's feelings were and what I thought her wish might be. And that tended to work this time around. So if that dynamic resonates with you, that you think you might jump in the same way as I did, just keep that in mind, and you may want to pick up this book, Siblings Without Rivalry. Have a good week.